Boom! What's going on, everybody? It's WrestleZone. Wearing the merch. You can get it now at WrestleZone.com. Click on the merch tab. We're covering Impact Wrestling coming off a Tuesday into a Wednesday. We have a three-headed Sybaris of wrestling nerddom with you today. Down in Tampa, Florida, the home of this year's WrestleMania. Will he be attending it in a NASA spacesuit to protect himself from reality at the moment? Robert DeFelice. Robert, how are you?
I'll make this quick only because you said it. I've told everybody the same thing. How do you feel about Edge winning? I don't like it because I really wanted not to go to WrestleMania.
maybe we get him in there. Maybe. Hey, Bill Pritchard, boss man of WrestleZone. Do we have a budget for a giant human-sized hamster ball that we can put Robert in and just roll him into Raymond James Stadium?
It's not hard plastic, but we can get one of those blow-up Bubble Boy gimmicks.
All right.
Robert, will you be the Bubble Boy? Will you be the Bubble Boy?
We'll have to see, because Florida might require it at this point.
Florida required it before the coronavirus.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, we're starting off hot and goofy.
I'm allowed to say I am a former disgruntled resident.
We are joined by former disgruntled Floridian. So we're covering Impact here. A lot going on with them. They continue to collaborate with AEW, the lightest presence of AEW on Impact recently, setting up plenty of things for the upcoming Surrender pay-per-view. We also had two big returns on this week's Impact on Access TV. If you didn't watch it, we're going to catch you up. If you did watch it, sound off, get your comments on screen. We'll be talking about all those things in this show today. So, general thoughts coming off this week's Impact. I thought it was a pretty solid episode. Definitely felt like something was missing with less AEW talent on the show, right, Bill?
I feel like it was less of a distraction. Like as much as I like that they're putting more effort into it, I'm glad that every week isn't just, oh, let's see what the AEW guys do, because I honestly thought last night's show was one of the best ones that they've done. I mean, this year, yeah, but in a few months as well. Just the undercard's really strong right now. I feel like that's really what's keeping my attention. So I liked it.
And there are a bunch of goofy shenanigans still backstage. We still have ridiculous shenanigans with Johnny Swinger apparently running, I would say, an unlicensed casino within the Impact Zone. Right, Robert?
Yeah, but it's very on brand for the Swinger man. You know, he's got the Swingerellas. He's got to make his Mizunny, you know? He's got to do it.
Not just money, Mizunny. Let's get to the ring. Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. Tasha in action against Havoc with Nevaeh. Nevaeh, by the way, is heaven spelled backwards, just in case you know. Tasha versus Havoc here opens the show. Bill, this is Havoc wrecking one half of the current tag team champions with a big tombstone pile driver. Your take?
I like the move. It fits her character. It's kind of good to see that it's not just, like the Undertaker's move.
Yeah, because it's the jump. She did that jump into it,
right? It's like good that nobody's really saying like, oh, you should have asked permission to use that move and that all that bullshit. Like, who did that a couple months ago? And it was like, it's not your move.
Kevin Owens talked to Stone Cold Steve Austin about if he could do the stunner, and he got
no. See, he asked, but it was like another one of those. I don't know. It was just like Twitter bullshit. Like, okay. Oh, you stole my like spinning elbow, or you. It was just ridiculous, and it was
okay.
Like, dude, it wasn't your move.
People think that they genuinely own these moves.
I'm gonna like find a move and call dibs on it, and like.
I'm a fan of this. I thought this was straight up action. It showed that Havoc and Nevaeh are a force to be reckoned with. I think this was cool. I thought this was a lot better than the Firefest sketch they did last week.
Yeah. They're a force to be reckoned with, Kevin. You give them the belts. You didn't do that. You didn't even have the smaller girls cheat to win. Therefore, why are you having Nevaeh or Havoc run through Tasha Steelz? I don't get it. I mean, the right person won because they should have won, but it is what it is. You know?
I'm sorry, this pile driver is brutal. I'm looking at the GIF of it right now.
I mean, yeah, but it's Havoc is a believable opponent. It's just if they didn't win at the pay-per-view, why are they winning so easily here?
Craig Backlund, big fan of the show. He says, very good show for Impact last night. He really enjoyed it. So some people chiming in here. Other people talking about the ODB return. We'll touch on that. We also have Mahabali Shera also returning on this week's Impact show. So some Impact names back in the mix. We'll talk about them within the episode of it. Michael saying it was better than Raw. You enjoyed it more than Raw with Edge and Orton. Robert's angry about that. How dare you say anything?
That's a very low bar to set.
The better than Raw is a very low bar to set because Raw is just a grind. I will say now that Edge is apparently going to be there every week. It's a grind I'll have to sit through. But Impact, not to be outdone by Edge coming back, brought back, Mahabali Shera. So, I mean, we're neck and neck here, fellas.
And see, I'm usually like all about them taping shows weeks in advance, but like this was one of the weeks where it really just was like it did not work in their favor.
No, because they didn't get the proverbial social media pop of even Shera coming either back. Way. Shera's a big name in India, and we know that India has a huge audience for wrestling, right? But this has been out of the bag for weeks. ODB put it out of the bag doing a round of interviews a few weeks ago. We've known about this. It didn't have the same, for lack of a better term, impact that the returns should have, right?
It's another, so I can speak on both. And first it's just like, oh yeah, Edge is back. Like Edge is on Raw, Edge is on NXT. And then it's like, oh, all you're doing is these people. And it's like, yeah, that's awesome for an Impact audience because we like these people. Like ODB is awesome. Shera, I mean, he did have, and like you said, he has a following in India. Like, I won't put him on the same pedestal as ODB. Like, I just think she's like an all-time great character in the company, and she just gets you excited. But I honestly think like Shera is like another one of those Bad Bunny situations where, if you're asking who this guy is. And you just made the point, like he has a lot of fans in India. TNA Impact, has a really big audience in India. It's a worldwide thing. It's not just, it's not America is our prime audience. Like, yeah, it's a big part of it, but
they're the worldwide leader in total nonstop action.
Yeah, like just bring him back, see what he can do. I actually am kind of surprised it took this long because I'm pretty sure he's been under contract for months, but as we found out last night, like he's been in OVW and kind of getting back in ring shape.
Look great.
I don't know why they said he was like on a sabbatical or whatever they said. They were like, oh yeah, he's been in India. Like, no, he's been in like Kentucky training.
Yeah, big difference between there's a big difference between Mumbai and the Ohio Valley. Like the big difference there. Well, he interrupted. I'm just letting people know he interrupted the Rohit Raju TJP match, and I'm okay with this because I've had my. I like Rohit. I like TJP. I've had my fill of this storyline, so at least Shera brings a different element to it. Robert, your take.
Throw this comment on screen from Jason Michael Campbell about dropping the ball with WWE because I made the point when I reviewed Superstar Spectacle that like why isn't Mahabali Shera here? Yeah. Like this is where you kind of go, oh well, this is Mahabali Shera. He's from Impact, and he did bring a king, I'm sure. But like to bring him back to Impact again, I think this is like his third go around with the company, and I've never seen them really do anything. And like, let's not kid ourselves. They might have a huge market in India, but it's not like they're going to be traveling there anytime soon. I don't think they're going to hedge their bets on putting Shera over just for the Indian market. It just seems like here's a guy It's like if WWE brought back Mason Ryan today.
Yeah,
like I know who that is. I'm not sure a lot of other people.
No, like again, like I like him and he's got a good look, but it's like that's almost the most random person you could think of. Like, oh yeah, 2021 Mason Ryan.
Right.
In a week that they brought back Carlito which we thought was never going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I'm going like, bring back like that 2005 SmackDown era of like mid-card guys. Like I would love to see Chris Masters. And then it's like, oh yeah, Mason Ryan. Like, and it's kind of the same thing with Shera. Like, not like, I'm not just trying to like rag on anybody, but Shera's Shera's got a great look. He's a nice guy, but he's huge, like built. I hate the stupid dance. Like, I just think that's holding him back. Like the Shera Shuffle, whatever it's called, but he has a following, whether it's here, India, Ring Ka King, like he did that for a while, but I think they need to just do more than be like, oh, Mahabali Shera is back. Like, okay, and so I think this thing with Rohit is gonna be like the litmus test, because he's always been like on his own, like he's the focus, but now it's almost this Sean Diesel sort of dynamic, even though he's not that much bigger than Rohit. So I'm interested to see where this goes, and I'm willing to give it a chance. I just hope Impact actually gives as much as they can to it instead of just making him the fall guy.
The other big return was ODB. She returned in a post-match scenario here with Susan, which is apparently a wrestling incarnation of a Karen, who was played by the same wrestler who did Su Yung. I'm a little confused. Maybe you are too. She had Deonna Purrazzo and Kimberly in her corner. Deonna Purrazzo, the reigning Impact Women's Champion. She took on Jordan Grace, Big Mama Pump, with Jazz in her corner. They did goofiness with a sports jacket and the referee being distracted and a bunch of shenanigans. Jordan Grace gets the win here. But the post-match, Deonna and Lee going after Jazz and Grace. ODB comes down to clear the ring. What do you think of the mix here, Bill, with ODB being brought back in here?
I like it. I think it's a good way to, add some star power, so to speak, in the Knockouts division. You know that they have the level of talent. They have the best roster on paper right now. But maybe everybody doesn't know all the names in the division. You just had Taya leave. And again, maybe this is why they waited for ODB to come back, because Taya was leaving. They could, inject a new name, returning name into that spot where Taya was leaving. And I think Jazz fills that role well too. So I'm on board with her being back. Like, I think she was missed in wrestling. Again, she's like a legacy talent where she can add a lot to the broadcast. I kind of hope they just don't, like, in this case, I really hope they ignore her history with Eric Young and Cody Deaner, because that was like, it not only would kill Violent by Design, like their whole thing, but like I think it just let her do her own thing, let her have fun, like sell the food truck, sell her.
Oh, they'll have the food truck built into it, like a storyline. Like
I want to say match inside of the food truck, or like just truck. Like go for it.
Yeah, but Robert, you book me a food truck fight. What are we doing here?
Well, I think first of all, it would take place in Jacksonville, Florida, outside of Daly's place, and it would be something like Penelope Ford, who's getting married tonight. The catering is provided by ODB's food truck. And then you send Miro and Charles Taylor and Orange Cassidy and Kip Sabian into the food truck to have a match based around.
And the food truck is like a whole different universe. Like, it doesn't, like the actual size of the food truck does not actually show the parameters. Like, you go in and it's like, this makes no sense. How is this like a warehouse or something like that? Like,
you ever been to like a Please Touch museum?
What's a Please Touch museum?
It's like a kids museum where like they have like, oh, here's the supermarket and here's like how you learn how to, like go to the bank. And then they'll have like they'll have like a tractor or like a truck, but then it's like not built to scale at all. It's like ridiculously huge. Like, they should do that, like show them getting into the food truck and then it's like a 4-story building.
I like it.
Maybe they find themselves in a meat locker.
There you go.
And ODB's in there. All right, and we get some meat slapping. We get some meat on meat action. I'm down for that. And ODB has no problem saying what type of fellas she likes. I think ODB ogling people would be fun. But there we go. She's on the market. She's not married to Eric Young anymore, is she? Did they break that up?
No. They might have.
Did they ever do something official? I mean, they have a barrister, so they could just take care of that now.
They might have. They did get married. Damn, the microphone keeps falling. They got married in a cage at Lockdown a couple of years ago. I don't remember when that was.
You want to know how marriage is going to work? Do it instead of a steel cage.
Now, do they have a claim to the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship? I guess we'll have to figure that out when Eric Young hits his head again and becomes goofy again.
No, maybe Brooke Hogan stripped them of the titles.
Stripped them. They were stripped. They were vacated there.
I don't know. That's not right.
Other action developing here. Brian
Myers defend him for like 500 days.
Our very own Dominic D'Angelo in his results described Brian Myers as Snake Plissken, coming out with his eye patch here after having eye injuries, 2 different matches, and that he's just not ready to take on Eddie Edwards, who he insulted in a big way, saying that Eddie Edwards, trained by wrestling legend Killer Kowalski, his trainer Walter Kowalski, should be rolling in his grave at what Eddie Edwards has become, a garbage backyard wrestler. This prompts Eddie to get out to the ring, but it also prompts Hernandez to make another appearance, someone we haven't seen in a while.
I hate this. I think this is awful. I think this is like, I'm sorry. I look at Myers and I'm not like, oh, there's a guy for Sean Hernandez to back up here. It doesn't work for me. It looks like we looked around. We've got Hernandez. Put him out there with Brian Myers. I don't like this. Now, it's unfortunate that Lance Archer has actually become quite the star in All Elite Wrestling, because a reunion of the Gatecrashers, and I'm probably the only one that knows that name, would be a great backup.
Oh, that's right. Him and Brian Myers. They were Gatecrashers.
They were a tag team. Was it 2010 WWF Superstar? WWE Superstars?
Was it before or after the Party Starter and the Dude Busters?
That was right in between. So
man, you guys got got some low card WWE 2010s names.
No, like back what I was saying before, like it's that like early 2000s, like mid 2000s SmackDown. Like it was good. It was good. Like top to bottom.
But yeah, Hernandez, for me, this doesn't work. And you've got a lot of Shawn Diesel pairings in wrestling in general right now. You've got Raquel and Dakota on NXT. You got now Rohit and Mahabali Shera, Ace Austin, Madman Fulton. Now you're gonna add Hernandez and Myers. I'm not feeling it.
You're not feeling well. Someone who wasn't happy about it was the always ready with Z's. That's how you know he's serious about it. Matt Cardona, formerly Zack Ryder, and the person that does the podcast network with Brian Myers, they're collecting figures. They were a tag team together. Well, he doesn't care. He's not going to have this. He hits the ring. He's plowing Hernandez over the top rope. He comes to Eddie Edwards' rescue, and Eddie Edwards later on pitches a match potentially of Cardona and him taking on Hernandez and Myers in a tag team match. Now, Myers says he's not ready with his eye patch to have this match, and they will go back to the Impact officials to try and make this official. Is that an appealing match for you on the pay-per-view? Is this the best use of Matt Cardona coming into Impact Wrestling in a tag team match?
No. This poor SOB. He just wants to be a wrestler, and they're just like,
and he wants to be a singles wrestler.
Bro, I got it for you. Here's a tag team.
Oh, bro?
No, I don't want a tag team. No, trust me, you're going to love this. Here's another tag team. It's like, come on. The man wrestled in AEW twice. Both were tag matches. He's wrestled in Impact, I think, 3 times, all leading towards tag matches. He deserves better. I know that everybody's kind of over Cardona, because Cardona was Zack Ryder and he's in the WWE system for too long, but he deserves a chance to show what he can do outside of this, like, hey, I'm Zack Ryder and I'm here and I'm just happy to wrestle. It's like, let him do his thing.
I mean, do we get Brian Myers versus Matt Cardona, the lifetime friends, in a singles match here in Impact? I think that's what they want to get to.
I hope so. I mean, that's kind of something that appeals to me, because Robert made the great point. All they keep doing with Matt is throwing him in tag team matches. And so I interviewed Matt and Brian. Awesome. Cheap plug. Go check out our interviews now.
Separate interviews, by the way. Go check them out.
Interviews. Sorry. Both of them said, I'm not interested in teaming with each other. We didn't really get too specific about, just tag teams in general, but
they were curt about it, though. They were definitely
they don't want to team with each other. They want to keep, Myers and Cardona separate, leave it to the Major Pod Network. And then what they do in wrestling, they kind of like their own thing. I like the appeal of a feud. I think it's very easy to write.
Yep.
I think you're writing it for their audiences.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing their fans over, and then maybe you hook some of the casuals with it. So it fills a spot on the card in Impact. I think, you can go with the true to life, like Low Below Diggs. Before we started streaming, Brian said something to Matt, and he was like, oh yeah, you're, AEW found out like you were a waste after 3 weeks or something. Like, it was just very yeah, I probably read that at some point, but like a random fan said it. So like, it's all that stuff you can pull from.
Wow.
And I think there's interest there. I really hope, once this feud is over, whether it's No Surrender or if it's at Rebellion, like they split again. Because I think Brian has a lot to offer as the most professional wrestler, and I feel like Matt deserves the chance to really show that he can be more than, hey, I'm Zack Ryder and I'm here. So
this is your mid-card title match. I think that's what you should do. It's one of the most unique ways to get some buzz around what you're doing. And I think if they just do this, you're dropping the ball with some big potential.
I mean, we thought Brian Myers, or at least I did, I was like, put him in the X division. Like, he could fill that Chris Nowinski, Drew Gulak role of like, that just kind of like, well, I'm being professional. I don't do flippies. And now he's still doing his own thing and making interesting TV. It's just after that, you don't want to stop what he's already building. And Matt, you kind of need to actually give him the chance to start that upward trajectory.
Larry,
here's the quote. Sorry. He goes, "This is cute. I'm looking forward to helping Impact Wrestling figure out what AEW did in only about 3 weeks, that you're worthless."
Ooh.
Like,
Ooh.
That's harsh. But he probably was, he probably knows he can do that to his friend. And at some point, we probably all read the same stuff. Like, you had a cup of coffee in AEW. Let's use it for TV. Let's try to draw people in. So I hope it's a singles match. That's all
I think it's the best match they can do in terms of what they can have out of it. Here's the thing. We didn't get the sense in that interview with Cardona that he's in this for the long haul, that this is a long-term deal. We didn't get that.
Denise Salcedo in another one that he's not looking to sign anywhere. So when I talked to him, I'm guessing I was one of the first ones in that, media loop to really talk to him. And he just said, yeah, I'm not under contract. But then she talked to him whenever after that, and he was like, I'm actually not looking to sign anywhere. So there's a big difference between I'm not signed, I don't want to sign. So
yeah,
I mean, hopefully he finds what he's looking for, but in the meantime,
sounds like he's going on a journey of self-exploration. And I mean, that's just fantastic. He should learn to love him before committing.
Too.
What'd you say there? What'd you say there, Bill?
Oh, I thought you guys were like no selling it.
No.
And maybe why doesn't he? No, but it was like funny because I was like, oh man, was it that bad of an idea? I said he should go like try New Japan too, like really just kind of, get out there. He's already done 2 of the big American companies. He's on Impact right now. Like,
do a Cody, man. Do a Cody where you leave
WWE. Be a bad idea too. And this is not me wanting him to leave Impact. It's just if you're doing interviews saying I don't want to sign, I want to have fun, like do the whole thing.
We're going in some wild directions here. I like how we're touching on a bunch of different things here. Back to this week's Impact. We had Crazy Steve with Rosemary versus Larry D, formerly convicted of murder. Larry D, who's now free of those charges. Wrestling logic. With AC Romero in his corner. This is a pretty hard-hitting match. Larry D picks up the win here. Larry D can't punch Rosemary. He can't hit her. She got involved. He's not going to hit a lady. But backstage, Emma says that she will hit a lady for them, for Larry D and the XXL crew. What do you think of the developments here with Larry D? I don't know. I'm not saying I don't feel Larry D, but this just feels like it doesn't pop off the page. I think they could do something more exciting with everyone involved.
First of all, you called her Emma. That's not
Tennille Dashwood. Tennille Dashwood. Yeah. Thank you for the correction.
Amazing name. No, it's like
I like the name Dashwood. Yeah.
There's just something about it. I'm like, why did nobody want to call her that before? Like,
I don't like this because Rosemary's already beaten Tennille.
I thought it was going to go in a really
correction on that, by the way. Old habits break hard. I keep wanting to say Zack Ryder. I know it's not right.
Larry D, he's innocent. Whatever. I was over this. Like, before they announced that it was Valkyrie, and then I liked it because they announced it was Valkyrie, which was a cool way to get rid of Valkyrie. And hopefully
who did not appear in the Royal Rumble.
And hopefully she appears.
She's in jail.
Hopefully Stanford Penitentiary gets her pretty soon.
I kind of wish Larry D and Ace Romero would, just stay the straight and narrow, and this feels like it's venturing back into that comedy territory, and I think they really worked well as, just like they had that natural disasters type feel to them.
Yeah.
And now it's like, all right, you're just sticking them in that like funny fat guy role again, and it's
you're goofballs. They have Falaba. They have a fun party animal fat guy for comedy stuff, right? What
is amazing in that role.
Yeah,
like, he's come up with some great one-liners the past few weeks.
That Groundhog's Day line he had this week, that was really funny. It was really funny.
But I don't really see this going anywhere. Like I don't know. I would just rather see them do tag team stuff, but I guess they're trying to. I don't know what they're trying to do with it besides like, hey, the 6-man's going to be on No Surrender or whatever.
I do want to bring up this. This is what we've been critical sometimes of some promo segments where they just try to be too cute, or they try to be too clever, or they try something too much, and they don't just let it stand and let the performers carry it. I really loved this promo. They didn't do in the ring. They did backstage, and they were in chairs with Trey Miguel and Sammy Callahan. And Sammy Callahan kind of treating it like a come to Jesus, but he's definitely not Jesus conversation of, Trey, you need to know what's wrong with you and why you didn't get signed by that other company and why your buddies left, and now you have to come crawling back. And he played into the things that fans are saying. Trey Miguel's back in Impact. We thought he was going to go to WWE with his friends in the Rascals. And you could see the seething tension in Trey Miguel, and he was right in his face as he's cutting this promo. I thought this was done really, really well. I've heard some fans say they don't like Sammy Callahan's promo, that he doesn't carry himself in that way. I think he absolutely did in this segment. I like this a lot. I'm more invested in this than the week I was before. How do you feel about it, Robert?
Sammy Callahan's the best character they have. Period. He's on another level, and there's a reason that for the last 3-4 years, this company has hitched their wagon to Sammy Callahan. I thought this was great. Trey Miguel, they're addressing the obvious. I think that they're going to overhype. It sounds mean, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think they're going to overhype Miguel for the next 6 months because WWE didn't pick him up. And because of that, they're like, oh, we got him.
That's if that's the 100% truth to that whole situation.
Well, we know that something happened there because Triple H has gone so far as to say, I won't address it.
But, I'm not addressing it as I do. Yeah. But I hope, it's more steak than sizzle. And so the stuff that happened with him last night is kind of like what I was getting at with like the Myers Cardona feud, like using the real life talk and stuff that like fans have said on air. Like, I mean, that was kind of everything I really want to ask Trey, like, about that situation, like Sammy did in like a minute and kind of just got it out there. I just thought the surprising thing was like Trey was like, saying he had a crutch the entire time and really kind of, threw the Rascals under the bus almost, but like not completely.
I think he was addressing his vice dependency.
Ooh.
What? It's
no. I mean,
yeah, it's a shot. I mean, it's a shot. It's a shot for Sammy to go in that direction. They're using quite a bit of reality. There's been a lot of speculation about why wasn't of all the people that they were going to get from the Rascals, the three of them. Everyone said, "Oh, Trey Miguel is going to be the guy," and they go with the other people, and it flips. Like when they break up a tag team, who's going to be the breakout star of the tag team? It
was just an interesting execution of it. I think Sammy was the right guy to do it.
Yes, and he's the person that can get under your skin and really.
He's like a new James Mitchell. Like you see Mitchell in the segments that he does. Like Sammy fits that role well. It just was surprising because you're used to Trey kind of being like that, like white meat babyface, and he kind of left that way. Last week he returned that way, and now it's just kind of like flipping taking it in a different direction that was unexpected, but I don't know why his character would feel that way.
Main event time, guys. Main event time. Robert's personal favorite all-time wrestler was in the main event. Moose and Chris Bay versus Tommy Dreamer and Rich Swann, a tag team that could potentially be the No Surrender main event. Tommy Dreamer, nearly going to be 50 years old on the day of this pay-per-view. No Surrender coming up on February 13th. He has not said yes. He's not said yes to this world title shot that Rich Swann put at his feet. Rich Swann is a champion. Moose says he's a champion. He just has the old TNA belts. He's walking around with a fake belt, maybe. This is a pretty brutal main event all over the place. Goddamn, Tommy Dreamer still putting on his working boots at his age. Very, very impressive. But Moose and May pick up the win. Moose and Bay. Moose and Bay pick up the win here. The post-match, Moose makes sure Swann and Dreamer stay down as he hoists up the TNA title and the Impact World title. So Moose is involved in the title picture here, and Tommy Dreamer is yet to say yes. How does this sell you on a pay-per-view? Tommy, are you going to do it? Is Moose going to take it from you?
Here's the layers that I wanted. Here, like, first reaction, oh, Tommy Dreamer is getting a title shot at 50. You either like it or you don't. And then here's like where the week by week selling of that story comes into play, where Tommy gets the title shot and then Chris Bay's like, no, it's my birthday too. Like, I should get the title shot. Moose keeps saying he's the real champion and has done pretty much nothing with that, even before the EC3 feud. Like, really did nothing besides just talk and like, hey, I'm the champion. And now they're actually selling him as a legitimate threat, which is a good thing if he's going to be saying it that much. And you hear people talk about like how Moose is a big star in the company and they should do this. And so, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being at least a 3-way or a 4-way at No Surrender. And I think this validates it. It's just, I don't know. I feel like they really missed the opportunity to make Moose the champion, like the real Impact champion, and this is like a few months too late, almost. So
yeah, and
I'd rather see like Swan and Bay go at it, or I'd rather see like just straight up Swan and Tommy Dreamer.
I'm more on the side of Swan and Tommy Dreamer because it's out of the blue. It like kind of clears the slate. You can do the thing with Moose looming over everything, saying I want to be the real champion, even though I'm not, and also I think there's other things you can do with Chris Bay that I think are a little bit more interesting. I'd love to see him be in a situation that doesn't involve a title because he's so driven by title to title to title to title situation. And with Dreamer, it would be a really emotional thing, even if he doesn't win it, to see if he could just make it work and really make Swan get the kind of the legend rub, a generational rub of, hey, you are our champion, but we're really going to prove it here. Robert, what's your take on this whole thing, and how do you feel about your man Moose tonight?
I'm down for the idea of let's just get rid of the Moose title match. I was 4-way at no surrender.
Would you say let's get rid of Moose?
I said let's get rid of the title match. I
what a betrayal!
Moose.
Just let's get rid of Moose.
I didn't say let's get rid of Moose. We do know that he's got a few more months. Maybe he finds himself somewhere else. Maybe he goes back to Ring of Honor.
Where did you find that information out about his contract status?
Little Birdie told me.
Little Birdie?
Too early in the show. We need the fightful minute.
Too early for your plug, Robert. Robert, we always try to get your plug in early.
I do enjoy this. I hope that we get this out of the way because honestly, I want Rebellion to be headlined by Kenny Omega defeating Rich Swann for the Impact World title. And there's no reason that shouldn't happen.
So that's where you see things going here. Big picture, Robert. You went for the big picture there.
I mean, the logo for the event has an Omega symbol. I'm not making that out of nothing. I just happen to look at the logo.
True. I mean, the connections are there. Overall thoughts on this week's Impact. I thought this was a thumbs up show. Solid 7 out of 10 for me. Bill?
Solid 6. I wasn't blown away by anything. We didn't talk about Drunk Tony Khan.
Oh, yeah. We didn't touch on Drunk Tony Khan.
No scores yet.
No scores yet. All right. So you got a 6. You got a 6 from Robert, a 7 from me. We'll hold off on your score here. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun here.
We got to go back and talk about Drunk Tony.
Tell me about Drunk Tony Khan.
He was drunk.
He was drunk.
he was
drunk.
Feeling it. He was selling his heart out. He loves AEW Dynamite. Tony Schiavone is like, if I was going to go drinking, I'd probably want to hang out with like Tony Khan on one side and Tony Schiavone on the other. Because I feel like there's just that balance.
I heard Jim Ross in there as like the crabby friend.
I've heard some Jim Ross drinking stories. I've heard Jim Ross can throw himself down, not just one Moscow Mule.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say that's like I'm not a Moscow Mule drinker. I'm more of like a beer guy, or I don't know. Thanks to James Storm, bourbon and Sprite guy now.
Oh,
really?
Okay.
Yeah. Dom's interview I sat in on, and he was like, we were talking about booze, and he was like, yeah, my buddy, I don't want to say he's the distiller, but like he's involved in the process of making whiskey and bourbon. And he's like, popular myth, you drink like Jack and Coke, but Coke's the part that, gives you the hangover.
Yeah.
So if you drink clear soda, like a Sprite or a 7-Up, you don't worry about it. And I went out.
Greg used some water, man. Greg used some water right here too, so.
No. See, Grey Goose, I need like a mixer, but like the bourbon, I went out, I bought like some Kentucky bourbon and tried it with Sprite, and I was like, holy shit, James Storm was right. So
shout out to James Storm for legitimately knowing his booze.
He's gonna get Chris Sabin in trouble.
Is it enough of a pull now for AEW fans to come over and watch Impact on Tuesday nights for these segments that are so winky, nod to you? These are two different brands. I don't know the appeal of them. They certainly seem like they're having fun cutting these, right? And they're having fun doing the plug for Impact and sharing the talent. I really feel like Impact is getting more out of this than maybe even AEW is to some degree. You're getting Gallows and Big LG and Carl Anderson really now present week-to-week talent, at least for a period of time, over on Dynamite. They were not present on this show. I mean, they get the plug for what they're doing at Beach Blast. But, Robert, what do you think here? This week in AEW and Impact, this was the lightest presentation of AEW on Impact recently.
It doesn't matter because, at the pay-per-view, they're going to put the tag titles on Private Party.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, more to the original point, I don't think they're doing enough to make AEW fans want to watch, because they're just putting everything on Twitter 5 minutes later. So what's the point of watching?
That's across the board wrestling.
I know that's a larger problem, but if you're gonna,
for Impact, you got to get behind the wall to watch the show.
If you're gonna do that, at least wait until Impact is over at 10 p.m. to put all that out. WWE used to do that, where they used to okay, Raw's over, here's all the post-show video news dumps.
Yeah.
Not saying you have to do it exactly like that, but if you know the paid ads are coming, okay, I know it just aired, I'm just going to go check Twitter. You're not going to watch Impact. Make the lapsed fans and AEW fans, they have to make that investment to actually watch the show. So you're giving them a reason not to if you're just putting it everywhere else.
Agreed. Yeah. So
I
now
points once in a while.
now as you sip some Gatorade, you're getting your electrolytes. Are you ready? Are you ready to give me your rating here, Bill? The definitive rating on this week's
7.5.
Oh, we got a 7.5, dog.
The constant.
Ring the bell, dog. Ring the dinner bell for the dogs.
Oh,
we got a 7.5, dog. For the boss man.
John Clark's gimmick there.
That's John Clark's gimmick. He uses 7.5s, dog.
It has to be a really bad show, or it has to be a really good show for me to kind of get out of that 7 range. And again, I think I said it last week, 7.5. That's still a good show. It's just not,
it's not blow away. Yeah.
I'll probably say the last great show, specifically TV shows I watched, was AEW Winter is Coming. I thought they nailed that.
Top tier,
that was one of the best all around shows I've seen probably in months. Impact's good. It's just, what do they have to do to kind of make it great?
Yeah, you're not getting anywhere near 7.5 for me. You're getting a 6. It was fine. It was just fine.
Mm-hmm. Our hard line is that 6 to 7 range.
I won't give you a 5 or below, because that's saying, okay, there are problems. There's no problems here. It's just average.
I'm still of the thought that even more than a year here into the pandemic, when you have a wrestling promotion putting on a week-to-week show under these circumstances, there's a certain level of just seismic challenges that everyone's coming over every week.
Listen, nope. Wrestling doesn't get that out because they forego that out when they never stop, not even once. So you've been doing this for a year now. You can't still go, guys, Impact would be so much better if we had an audience. I think Impact is great right now because, hey, you got away with doing this Kenny Omega thing. You just haven't capitalized on that enough to make it matter. And that's kind of the problem I see here. But overall, I give a 6. Very excited for No Surrender. Should be a great show. I had a great weekend of wrestling, and that's in 2 weeks. That's not this week. It's in 2 weeks.
Plenty of things going on at WrestleZone.com. We have the latest news on what's going on with WrestleMania. We are on the road officially. We have plenty of podcasts talking about what's going on with Edge. He will be part of NXT tonight. He will be on SmackDown on Friday. What title is he going to choose? What is the latest situation on tickets? We are following the day-to-day situation with that. Bill, do we have any rumblings of ideas of when these tickets could be on sale for WrestleMania? People keep asking me every day. I got to ask you because I think you would know before I would.
I'm going to deflect and say everybody should ask John Clark, our resident WWE super.
No, because what the thing is here, John Clark's already bought the Airbnb. My God, I hope they don't go back on their whole thing about having fans.
I think he may be the only person from WZ that's going to be there. So we're putting it on him.
I've thought about it, but he's fully committed.
He has been committed for a while. He told me months ago that he wanted to go. So.
I'm curious as to how it would actually all go down, and then it's do I really want to go to Florida? Like,
you don't.
Just not even like adding anything on. Like, it's just, do I really want to go to Florida?
My thing is, I really hope that they don't do the collective, and they're going to. Because the thing, WWE is going to require some type of
testing,
vaccine or testing. The collective will not, and you're gonna have all those people commingling. There are issues here. That's not a shot at what they're doing, because I think the collective has done a great job in just helping wrestling stay alive on the independent scene. It's just, don't follow WWE this year, because
run another town. Why do you run another town.
Yeah. I really hope this was a lesson. Like, they did the collective in Indianapolis, not associated with anybody else but them, and it was a pretty good showing. And I know it's not going to happen, but like, I really hope people, like, I thought the bubble was going to burst before this year anyways, like, as far as like the indies with WrestleMania week. It's just too much at this point. Like, I really, really, really hope that they just start doing their own thing and realize that fans are willing to travel. It's just, you're not going to get the WWE money from that fan with it.
No.
And they'll probably still do it on some level. But like, other than WrestleCon and like maybe a few shows, I really hope people start doing their own thing. Like, Ring of Honor shouldn't be part of WrestleMania week at all.
Nope.
Like, they should do their own thing. They would be the ones that should benefit, like, by getting all of these indie companies and doing like Festival of Honor like some other time.
Yeah,
like that would be a great idea. Because,
or I mean, like just run another town that weekend. You know, like, hey, we know people are excited about wrestling this weekend.
Then I know they're not looking at it, but then you're forcing that fan to make a choice, and
yeah, true. But I mean, like, but
look at a guy like,
it's not like you're gonna be able to get 80,000 people down there. You know what I mean? That's the
thing.
At
a guy like Tony Deppen, like, he's working Ring of Honor right now. He's a GCW guy. Like, you're gonna have guys like that are already working for Ring of Honor and can also work some of those other indie companies that weekend. It's just, I'd rather see WrestleMania be WWE focused again. Like,
and here's the thing that, like, I've learned in the last year and a half, because of an increased time spent on social media and stuff like that, there is now a definitive segment of the audience that is just independent.
Yeah.
They don't like WWE. They think that independent wrestling TV is the greatest subscription ever. They don't watch Raw. They don't watch SmackDown. They don't even watch NXT.
And they tell you the last time they watched Raw or SmackDown.
And they'll tell you, like, I haven't watched since the Rumble in 2015 or whatever. But do that. Do the show for them. That's a huge portion of the audience. And anybody that you can get to part with their WWE money, it's worth it, because then you know the footprint that you actually have. Do not run 100 events WrestleMania weekend is what I'm saying. Please don't do that.
But you know that it's going to happen.
Of course I do.
I agree with you, and we could sit here and be like, here's what's safe, but then it's
But then wrestling's going to do what they want to do. And
pro wrestling has never...
Don't you tell me how to live my life, and I'm going to say, okay, I won't.
Yeah, and also, I like just my own personal perspective on this. I've worked in live entertainment and different things like that for 20 years. There is this clamoring to figure out a way to do these shows at a transitional phase, limited capacity, all these different things. I performed a handful of different stand-up shows that are like that. Are they the same? No. Are they better than nothing? Yes. And I'm talking about live shows with limited seating and different things like that. I'm at the phase where I know I can spread the shows out. I know what I'm going to do. I know there's how many weeks apart. I know what testing I can do. The thing is, I can do that on my own. The logistics of doing that at a scale of something the collective is very, very hard to pull off, of protocols and all those different things. And WWE has the structure and the money and the resources to do that, to test.
So does Ring of Honor.
Yeah. And they've been doing it. And I appreciate that, how they handle
it. Let's just run our own event.
Who we booking? We're putting it out there, Bill. Who's going to be available? Yeah. But yeah, definitely. We will send...
doesn't want to be a free agent anymore. I saw him say that friend of the show, Zicky Dice.
We're
going to sign you. We don't have a name of our promotion. We don't have an event booked. But it's going to be straight fire.
He's going to be at the Thunder Zone. We're going to book him. He's going to come down to the Thunder Zone right here. This is the Thunder
Twitch
Zone.
should legitimately go, hey, let's sign you on a content creator deal. Because
dude, let's talk about him for this is the Zicky 5 minutes or whatever, the Zicky Zone. There you go. Dude, he's doing main page stuff with Lita on Twitch, and he's friends with Effie, another friend of the show. We love you, Effie.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing things, but if he's Impact would probably be a good spot for him to land. Impact,
dude. Yeah, I would sign him up so quick.
I think he's pretty much said he wants that TNT airtime, and I'm all for it because the man deserves
another guy that brings in his own audience with his musical career, has a good thing going in wrestling. I think we could see him on TV.
And I think Effie is great, and Effie has gone the other way and said he's totally fine not being on TV and having that contract. And Effie, if you're watching this, you're great. We love you. Don't run Mania Weekend in the same city as WWE. Whatever.
I think he should have his own brand of big gay events.
Dude,
he had the big gay brunch, the big gay
block.
What was it?
Block.
Oh,
big gay block.
Big gay block. He should have just make it his nothing against the collective, but I feel like Effie can just do his own thing and it would work. I
absolutely.
think we're almost ready for that just to explode, and I think he could do some really cool stuff.
Run on holidays, St. Patrick's Day, the Turkey Day.
I am tweeting him right now to tell him
Turkey Day Stuffing Festival.
Effie's big gay.
Come on, Effie's big gay St. Patrick's Day block or block parade or something like that. Yeah,
St. Patrick's Day block. I mean,
yeah.
The Turkey Day Stuffing Special. Let's do this, okay? Run holidays, run on IWTV, now on Pluto. It's all there. Do it.
You can follow all this at WrestleZone.com. Obviously, WrestleMania season, there's going to be a lot going on. We're going to have all of it for you, all right? Make sure you bookmark the page. We're going to have a ton of content for you. We have multiple podcasts. We literally have hours of stuff every single week on the podcast feed. All the WrestleZone wrap-ups, AEW Focus Show, 2 Dynamite Dudes with Attitudes, our recap of Honor. All right, it's focusing on Ring of Honor. The Smackdown Double Down with Robert and Young, the young breakout star of WrestleZone, that hot young prospect, Colin Tessier.
I think he's fantastic. Colin
And we just dropped an interview today with Chris Jericho. All right, Chris Jericho talking to us about his brand new documentary. So there are plenty of things for you to devour from the zone, never leaving you alone when you're in WrestleZone. All right, go to WrestleZone.com if they want to give a follow for Robert and all the things he's doing. Here is his plug for the other 15 websites he works for.
All right, so I'm going to do a legitimately serious one for 5 seconds and say, please support Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful Select. Please. Sean works genuinely hard for people to just rip it.
I'm going to cut you off and say, don't be a dickhead and steal Fightful Patreon stuff and put it on your Twitter account.
Yeah.
Don't
be
a
from
dickhead.
Bossman Bill. Don't be a dickhead and steal the stuff that Sean works very hard for and just put it out there. Support Fightful Select. I'm obviously over there when I'm not over here. Follow me on Twitter at DudeFleece. Check out smarkoutmoment.com. Always doing great stuff over there with Callum Wiggins, the Paul Heyman Smackdown podcast. Check out Fanboys Anonymous. There's the Review to a Kill, where we review all these James Bond movies that I've never seen, and we're just going back and finding out how toxic and how poorly a lot of this stuff ages.
Some of those movies do not age well.
It's great, and we have great discussions about it. So just support everywhere I'm working, and yeah, that's it for me.
Bill Pritchard, you are quite busy here going into WrestleMania season. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's starting to feel like that, but I'd rather be busy than doing nothing. I
agree.
Like you said, the Jericho interview is up now. We'll probably put the written part out in a little bit, but the video you can watch right now. Tomorrow I have Steve Tortorello, the owner or the president of Warrior Wrestling, that's part of the Best for the Business series. That's our latest interview. So we just talked to him about at the time was really what's up?
Running a football field?
Yeah, like really, at the time they were the only ones, like they were the first ones to run an event with fans in the COVID era and just the logistics of it, bringing in talent, how that's going to change for the future. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's tomorrow. And then
love their story. Just their story as a promotion of just
like they're raising money for kids to go to school. Like,
yes, they are. I can tell you, is going to their events and being a product of the Catholic school education on the south side of Chicago. They're literally a fundraiser for a private school for like and mind you, it's all working class people. Everyone thinks, oh, private school, it's a lot of money. It is not. This is like they're basically like their own system, and they have to raise their funds, and they're doing it. And also, you have a lot of talent there. There's a lot of big name wrestlers that have come through there. They've had almost everyone from WWE, AEW, Impact in the last 2 or 3 years. So kudos to them and how they're making this work, and also broadcasting those shows and getting them out. I think they're the tippy top. We talk about the collective and stuff like that. I think you put them right up in that league of just top independent promotions right now. So that is what's going on. Follow us on all the different socials at WrestleZone.com on Twitter, right here on Facebook as well. If you already like us, follow us. That's how you get the notifications. You know when we go live. We will be live after AEW NXT. John Clark covering NXT. Me on the AEW Dynamite. We have all those extra bonus interviews. This is WrestleMania season. If you see the casuals hopping on the train, get them over to the station of WrestleZone. We appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Robert, I know, no matter what, that it's about what merch you can buy and what latest things you can spend money on in the world of wrestling, but it's not about chasing the merch. It's not about chasing that merch itch. All right. I know you got to wash, get your Razor Ramon chalk line jacket steam cleaned. Okay. And just calm down for a day and tell them what they got to do when they watch wrestling.
You got to not spend money like me, and you got to